Travel at low cost with points and miles. Credit card rewards bring the smiles. Many adventures, tales to be told. Make and save money, the world will unfold. Fight the war on happiness, pick up the gold. Hurdy Gurdy Travel Podcast breaks the mold.
You're listening to the Hurdy Gurdy Travel Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Vacula, here to help you travel the world at next to no cost with credit card points, miles, benefits, and rewards. Make money, save money, and take advantage of great deals. Thanks for joining me for today's episode, Navigating the Changing Landscape of Casino Status Matching and Earning. My returning co-host, Darren Remsburg, and I discuss recent changes with Wyndham, Caesars Rewards, and Ocean Casino in Atlantic City that negatively impact status matchers. We explore alternative strategies to earn casino statuses focused on miles and points enthusiasts. Before today's episode, some quick announcements. Early bird ticket sales for Zorkfest 2025, a miles, points, and gambling event, are now live at zorkfest.travelzork.com. I spoke at the successful Zorkfest 2024 event and hope to see you at Zorkfest 2025 in Las Vegas from December 5th through December 7th. I'm also looking forward to other events in 2025 and had a successful 2024, speaking at events with Award Travel 101, Frequent Traveler University, and both Chicago Seminars events. If you're an event organizer and would like to have me speak at your 2025 event, please contact me. Visit meetup.com/Philly miles and points to RSVP for monthly Greater Philadelphia travel, credit miles and points meetups I host in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. The next meetups are December 15th, 2024 and January 26th, 2025. Find a link in the show notes. For more content between podcast episodes, follow Hurdy Gurdy Travel Podcast on Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter. For bonus videos and community content, subscribe to Hurdy Gurdy Travel Podcast on YouTube. Follow Justin Vacula on Instagram for content and trip photos. Search Hurdy Gurdy Travel on subscribestar.com to financially support my efforts, starting at the $5 a month tip jar level. Receive special perks and higher subscriber levels, including private one-on-one discussions. Find links and more at hurdygurdytravel.com. All right, welcome back to the show, Darren Remsburg.
Thanks, Justin. Always enjoy a good miles and points chat with you.
We're maybe at a handful of times so far this year in recent months.
Yeah, it seems like we're going strong now. Absolutely.
All right, good. And I'm back from travels, so more recording. Just posted an episode from Chicago Seminars Elk Grove Village. And now we have an at-home recording, so hopefully the audio quality is better on this one. We shall see.
I look forward to hearing that episode with Steph.
All right, very good. We have some bad news. The war on happiness strikes again. We got a recent 1-2 punch on or around November 13th of 2024. Wyndham sent out an interesting email as the frequent miler. Wyndham emailed saying that if you're going to transfer points from Wyndham to Caesars, the transfers are now capped at 30,000 points a year or $300 for Caesars. So if you were to transfer 30,000 Wyndham points, you would get $300 worth of comps or reward credits with Caesars. But the bigger punch here was that in February of 2025, status matching to Caesars Diamond simply by being a Wyndham Business cardholder is going to die. The Wyndham Business credit card was the last one standing, and now they're saying that the status matches into Caesars will no longer be accepted for the Wyndham Business cardholders.
It sounds like Wyndham and Caesars just made a business decision, Justin. It's important for us, but yeah, that's where we find ourselves. And I agree. That's certainly the gut punch for most of folks that we're matching to a high tier status. We have good news, right? You, expert in all things Caesars and status matching, are going to walk us through some opportunities where with a little bit more work, not quite as easy as just signing up for a credit card, but with a little work and determination, you can still achieve high status with these casinos. Is that correct? Is that the goal for today?
So the episode will continue. It's not just going to be, oh, it's all over, it's dead, there's no way back. All right. Yeah. Thank you for listening. 4 minutes. The super coffee break, to borrow another term from Frequent Miler.
If we steal 3 of their ideas, do we have to pay them a royalty?
The status match merry-go-round, that's
no.
trademarked.
I don't know.
The carousel of progress is what Adam, travel fanboy, had said.
I like that. I'm sure he won't sue us.
Yeah, he'll be all right. So we have with the Caesars Diamond status, why is it so important? Waived resort fees was a big deal for me. So on my many Vegas trips, it's nice to get somewhere around $20 nights at Horseshoe, formerly Bally's Las Vegas, staying for about $20 a night using comps and not having to pay the resort fees, as the resort fees usually are around $50, maybe $40 at some properties. So staying for 5 days is easily saving $200 in resort fees, because if I have to pay resort fees, it's probably not worth staying. I'd just go somewhere else. We have a $100 celebration dinner. I recently went to Guy Fieri's Flavor Town at Horseshoe Las Vegas as I was staying there. So that was really convenient to go there. So that's a $100 dinner. And the Atlantis trip, which I'm going to take in January for the first time. Getting these 3 big benefits was enough reason to sign up for the card, even if you didn't care much about Wyndham.
You made me jealous. I had a little disagreement with Barclays about a couple things, and
Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah, I think they thought so. I thought there was plenty more lifetime for me to continue, but they disagreed. You know how it goes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and every once in a while you tie, but you try to make the most of it while you got it. And certainly I had some opportunity to do that. I'm jealous of your Wyndham card here, but maybe I'll be reaching out later to get some Wyndham points for Vacasa rentals. That's not what we're going to talk about today, but that is certainly a benefit as well.
Can you explain Vacasa really quickly for listeners who might not be familiar?
Vacasa is house rental, similar to maybe Airbnb and so usually a multi-bedroom, short-term rental type scenario. And they have the opportunity to book that on points through Wyndham. And it's somewhat dynamic in that they charge you a certain amount of points per bedroom so yet another way that we can travel cheaply, support our families or friends, and be able to do some fun things that otherwise we wouldn't be able to do if we were maybe paying straight up cash.
Yeah, otherwise you'd probably be buying Airbnb gift cards at maybe 10% off or better, and then actually like using real life money. But otherwise, using the Wyndham points for Vacasa stays people have liked. And some Wyndham hotels I've stayed at La Quinta before. So the credit card I intend to keep. You pay a $95 annual fee, but you could transfer points to Caesars, like we said, and you get an anniversary bonus. So I think they're actually paying you to have the card because you're paying the $95 annual fee, but you're probably getting $150 of value or more per year with the anniversary bonus. I think the first time we ever met in person was at Borgata, Atlantic City.
Yeah, that's right. That's been a few years now, but yeah, that's spot on. And I played the merry-go-round for a little while. My family have used it a couple of times as well. Spent some time in Las Vegas for a couple different events, and it really made a big difference there. Just so much, not only is it cheaper, you can waive your resort fees, but the valet parking was nice. The family don't have to walk all over Las Vegas to try to find your cars and so forth and so on. Yeah, it's in my mind, it's certainly worthwhile. And this was even before the cruises started up, right? I think with some of these cruise offers now and some of the other benefits, it's definitely worthwhile. So is it dead now is the question. I'm sure people will be asking, can I still sign up? If I'm allowed to get a card with Barclays, can I still sign up and do this, or is it already too late?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're recording on November 18th of 2024. And if you were to get approval from Barclays, get the card in maybe a week or two, but that could be a task, let's say, with all the documentation that Barclays might want. You might be able to get the card by December now if you don't already have it. Do the match in December and be okay, although we will get into another deadline at Ocean Atlantic City, which also might sound like Ocean Atlantic City. You might miss the Ocean deadline we'll get into, but you should still be able to match to Diamond. I've been talking about the Wyndham business card for a while. Others have, so hopefully listeners that were eligible have already gotten the card. But of course, some will miss out. But if you have the card at the moment, you can still go and do the match, and probably sooner is better than later.
It sounds like what I heard you say was pause the podcast, apply for the Wyndham business card through Barclays, get that going, and then come back and listen to all the great opportunities there are once you get the card.
Oh, no, they could listen while they do the application.
Oh, multitasking.
Yeah, when we met, it was 2018, I believe. And at that point, you were able to buy gift cards at Borgata Atlantic City and use the gift cards to play video poker. So that was a really interesting opportunity as we were getting credit card spend, giving up a slight house edge of about 0.5%. And we'll get into a little bit of video poker later in the episode. That was a great opportunity. So there was more going on with the statuses and the status matching. But recently, you mentioned the cruises, and a lot of people have been matching diamond status. Caesar's diamond status is getting Carnival cruises. And earlier in the year, many people matched Caesar's diamond to win Las Vegas. And that unlocked a $150 birthday dinner, a complimentary cruise with Holland America. I booked an Amsterdam cruise that's going to happen in 2025 with Holland America. So that was a complimentary cruise, really good offer there. The Wyndham to Caesar's match was very important for people, or just having the diamond status, which we'll get into other ways to get the diamond status. And also, I believe it was a $150 sushi dinner that I had at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas.
I think it was.
So because we know the answer to everything is
More credit cards.
Yep.
Obviously.
You can actually get the Caesars credit card. You're generally going to favor getting cards with Chase early on, and then you're going to go into Citi, American Express, US Bank, and some major issues. But the Caesars credit card is issued by Comenity Bank / Bread Financial now. And that's unlocking diamond status, at least partially. So earlier this year, I got the Caesars credit card, and I currently have close to 12,000 tier. You need 15,000 tier to get Caesars diamond. The card gives 2,500 tier after 1,000 spend in 90 days, and you gain an additional 5,000 tier credits from spending $5,000 on the card in a calendar year. The terms are now saying 1 per year, it seems, which is interesting because in the past, I believe it was a once ever bonus for the 5,000 spend for 5,000 tier. So in 2025, it might be worth spending the 5,000 on the card to get a third of the way there. I think this is a recent positive change. So if you get that 5K tier atop the initial tier, then you're a pretty good portion of the way to diamond. So if America loves math and I'm doing the math correctly, you get about 7,500 tier in the first year with the credit card for spending $5,000. And it also gives you a whopping 1x reward credit for spend everywhere spend. There are some 2x categories on there, but none of them are particularly interesting to me. So you can spend your way to partial diamond status.
So the only way to earn tier, the max number of tier points you can earn through the credit card is 7,500. So halfway there, is that correct?
Yeah, so 7,500 would get you halfway there, but that's only in year one that you would get the additional tier from signing up. So future years, you would only get 5,000 tier for 5,000 spend. If the recent terms I saw are correct, that you can do that every calendar year. So you'd get a third of the way to status from spending 5,000 in the calendar year on the credit card. And it may take a little bit of time for the tier credits to post. So it'd probably be best to hit that spend goal before the fourth quarter. I don't play slots. I don't play table games in person. I just play online blackjack and I play poker. And I haven't played poker with Caesars in 2024. And I have 11,804 tier. So I'm pretty close to 15K. And this might lead me to video poker in Atlantic City or Harrah's, Philadelphia.
That's quite the location. Do you think that's what they meant?
The casino chips are interesting. They have the casino on the chip.
That's just good marketing.
So if we're actually going to put money into video poker machines, I mentioned video poker because it's one of the lowest house edge games in the casino. If you find good video poker, that is. But the 9-6 jacks or better is one of the better video poker games that you can play. You can find what are called video poker pay tables on the website vpfree2.com. There are trackers or monitors who look at different locations. They show you pictures of what the pay tables look like, and you could identify the good machines in casinos. But not all casinos have the 9-6 jacks are better. So you might end up playing something like 8-5, 8-6, and they do the math for you in how much the house edges, the theoretical money that the house expects to gain in the long run. Because of course, with gambling, nothing is guaranteed in the short term.
I think that's one thing that people need to be aware of is that we have expected values here and there's variation around it. And sometimes it is to your benefit and sometimes it's not. Anytime that you're putting in $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 in order to get to some of these tiers, you should be prepared to lose a fair bit. You have to practice. You have to know how to play. You can't, or you shouldn't just walk up and start playing. Then the house edge is likely to be much greater than if you have practiced and know what you're doing.
There's definitely training apps, training software. There are strategy cards that you can print. But of course, like we've talked about blackjack extensively in previous episodes, you want to practice off table first, get good at the strategy. And when you're playing, you can use the tables, the charts, whatever physical paper aids that you have. Although using an electronic device, video poker might cause issues, but that's a whole story for another day. So maybe bring like a paper strategy card with you after you've practiced sufficiently off table, and of course, gamble responsibly. So let's talk about some of the math and what we can expect with video poker. According to the Caesars website that I saw today, actual video poker play in the casino, you'll earn 1 tier credit per $10 coin in. So if you were to play one hand of $10 on jacks or better, that'd be $10 coin in. So this is the money that you gamble through or that you play through. So if you put 100 in the machine, for instance, and you play exactly 100 and go to 0, that would be 100 coin in. If you were to play through 1,000 or 1,000 coin in, you would get 100 tier. So more math, 10,000 coin in or 10,000 playthrough would get 1,000 tier credits. In my situation, I would need about 3,000 more tiers since I already have about 12,000 to get to diamond. So I would need to put through or play through $30,000, 30,000 coin in at a 2% house edge. Let's say if we don't have the best video poker, we're playing into a 2% house edge, I would have a theoretical loss of $600. So in the long run of playing video poker, you have a large sample size and we'd expect to lose $600 on that play. But there are some things with Caesars. They do have promotions where some days you'll get bonus tier. They have multiplier days and much more.
That's a good example, Justin. What are some other ways that folks find themselves, or like myself, so maybe I want to generate diamond status as quickly as possible. I don't have access to the Wyndham card. So I decided to get the Caesars card and spend some money on that. And that's going to get me halfway there. And then I figure video poker is my next choice. What are some other things that you would advise me to do to try to minimize some of that variation and get as close to possible as the 3% or 2% or 1%, whatever kind of games I can find in order to minimize that theoretical loss?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend getting the credit card in late 2024 because your tier might count toward the current tier year if you're currently at 0 or close to it. So getting the card maybe February, March, early in the year would probably be the best way to go because the status year expires January 31st. So getting it a little bit after the year starts would probably be best. We have online blackjack. We have a whopping 1 tier credit per $50 wagered. So if you were to grind that out, it would be a whopping $750,000 in playthrough to get diamond status. But of course, the credit card would take that down a significant amount, and other things like dining spend, hotel stays, but you're only getting a little bit of tier for that. But it can definitely help you get there a little bit. And I'm already playing on the Caesars websites in Pennsylvania. I'm already playing online blackjack. So I'm getting a little bit of tier through the online blackjack play, but certainly I'm not going to get 750,000 in a calendar year. I think I'd get shut down for pushing that kind of volume.
Yeah, our experience has been that you can get shut down for a lot less volume than that.
If you're speaking from experience.
Where's the line?
LAA.
Lifetime Achievement Award, not just the Los Angeles
that's
thing.
If the online gambling sites would be more transparent and, hey, we'd be okay with you depositing and playing through $5,000 a week, but you're never going to get like straight answers about what's acceptable or not. So we're just guesstimating. And usually I'm spacing my play out by 3 days. And usually I'm at this point of seasoning the accounts, I'm usually playing through about 6 cards or 6 deposit methods per those 3 days. And I've been okay on most sites.
Yeah, who knows what the trigger is, right? I think when you get some sort of alert on your account, and then there's eyes on your account, and they see that you've been, for lack of a better term, gaming the system. They get jealous, right? They're the only ones that are allowed to game the system, Justin. We are not allowed to game their system, only the other way around. Seems like they don't like that, and they shut us down. It's frustrating, but like a phoenix, sometimes you can rise from the ashes. Maybe they can spin up a new account and get going again, although at a reduced frequency or level, in order to try to stay under the radar for a little longer.
Yeah, earning tier credits, just scrolling through here on the Caesars websites, looking for the milestones here. We see slot machines, 1 tier credit for every $5 played on slots, but I'm almost never recommending playing slots for really any reason unless there's a really good promotion, but slots can be a 5 to 10% house edge. So I'm not advocating for that. Table games, it's mysterious, but maybe you can gain tier through Baccarat or craps, but there's no information on Caesars website about how much you would get per average bet or per hour played. We mentioned video poker. Sports betting, earn up to 10 tier credits for every $100 wagered on straight bets. So that's not parlays. We have some other online earning. We mentioned the online sports book. That's the in-person. The online is saying 10 tier credits for every 100 wagered on straight bets. There can be some matched betting and other positive expectation opportunities on sports betting. Hotel, earn 1 tier credit for every $1 spent on hotel rates and resort fees when booking directly. Dining, earn 1 tier credit for every $1 spent at participating restaurants. And the tier credit bonus is finally, if you earn 500 tier credits in a day, you get a 125 tier credit bonus. If you earn 1,000 tier credits in a day, you get a 1,000 tier credit bonus. 5,000 in a day for a 10,000 tier credit bonus, earn diamond in 1 day. So I don't think that higher level is needed if you're just looking for diamond, as you can do credit card and some in-person video poker play.
So in that instance, you'd only have to play $250,000 in blackjack, Justin, to get that $5,000 tier and then the $10,000 bonus. So there you go. Saved.
America really loves math.
You save $500,000 in bets. We could do that. We could do 250,000 in a day, right? That'd be no problem.
Oh, that'd be interesting if they would allow such volume. We just have to have stacks and stacks of prepaid cards too. The Staples deal happened. All right, I have stacks of MasterCards. I went on a world tour. And moving on, so that's basic overview of the tier. I guess it could be a whole episode on how to earn tier with Caesars, but we've touched on many of that. So let's move on to another news item, another War on Happiness alert here in this emergency episode. Earlier today, November 18th, 2024, breaking news, Ocean Atlantic City posted a sign and it said this: effective December 1, new tier match customers will need to earn 250 tier points to qualify for travel perks.
And travel perks like cruises, right? Ocean has some of the best cruise match deals, as I recall. So I guess if you're already diamond and you're trying to match to Ocean, now's the time to do it. Get in there before you have 2 weeks. You're on notice.
Yeah, 2 weeks, this emergency episode. So yes, the typical play would be matching the Wyndham diamond status to Caesars diamond. So you pick up the Caesars diamond card, you drive to Ocean, park at Ocean, walk to Hard Rock, you match your Caesar status to Hard Rock, you get the icon status at Hard Rock, you walk to Ocean, and then you get the Ocean Prime status matching there. So now December 1st, you'll need to earn 250 tier points to qualify for travel perks. And the sign is just so weird, travel perks. Like, what does that mean? So yes, they previously offered, or they're still offering to the end of the month, if you have the Ocean Prime status, just for matching even, you get the complimentary cruise with MSC, Mediterranean Shipping Company, and 2 nights at Wynn Las Vegas, including a resort or dining credit with Wynn. So those were the travel perks. And now they're saying that you would need to earn tier points in order to get those perks from status matching. And I would think that many people weren't actually playing. They were just going into the casino, doing the match, and walking out.
Guilty. So I feel like there's going to be another America Loves Math here moment, Justin, where you walk us through how do we get those 250 tier points to qualify for those travel perks, which again is the primary reason that you're trying to get ocean status, in addition maybe to the carousel of progress that would allow you to move things around through Atlantic City or through Vegas and maintain status, maybe even if you don't have the Wyndham opportunity anymore.
Yes, it is another America Loves Math and a little bit of informational moment here. So the tier points at Ocean, according to some quick research on Google, some Reddit, some Vegas forums, tier points are earned during a 1-year period from July 1st through June 30th, and they reset to 0 on July 1st. One data point I found was possibly $20 coin in on video poker is 1 tier point. So America Loves Math, 5,000 coin in or 5,000 playthrough, you would incur about a $50 house edge or theoretical loss on a 1% video poker game. You would have a $100 house edge on a 2% game and a $150 house edge on a 3% game. Another data point claims that you would earn 2.5 tier points per $1 theoretical loss. So at a 1% house edge video poker, $1,000 in coin in or playthrough would yield a $10 theoretical loss. So you would get 25 tier. So we would need to play $1,000 10 times or $10,000 in coin in or playthrough to get 250 tier points. If it's a 2% house edge video poker, for example, $1,000 in coin in or playthrough would yield a $20 theoretical loss, which would give 50 tier. So we need to play $1,000 5 times or $5,000 coin in. So we would get 250 tier for an expected loss of $100 according to those data points. And again, we say expected because that's over the long run. And in the short run, you might lose. And some people might be uncomfortable with, I played to try to get this cruise and only the cruise, and I walked out and I was down like $900. So some people might not like that. But of course, we're in it for the long game.
I think what you and I are doing, and you especially, but many of us are doing, right? It's good old portfolio theory, right? We're investing, quote unquote, in a lot of different systems, even if some of them have expected losses, but we're doing it in ways that we expect the benefits to outweigh those losses. And yeah, sometimes you're down for a session or you're down in one particular area, but overall, the expectation is you're going to come out well ahead. And I think that's the idea. And people can get discouraged. I certainly understand. You play a session of blackjack, you're first getting started, you have your chart up and you're making all the right decisions and you walk away still down, maybe down big, and you're frustrated, you're disappointed, you're thinking, I'm not going to keep doing this. And it's almost the worst time to quit, right? You're on the tail of the proverbial bell curve and likely going to regress to the mean, to something that's maybe a little better. Again, as long as you're playing correctly. So if I were going to go to Ocean and match, how do I know, say I play $1,000, can I go check how many tier credits or tier points I've earned off that $1,000 and understand what that looks like? Or how do I do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think more modern machines have a counter on the screen that will say how many tier you earned in your current session. You could also check the kiosk before play to see what your tier score happens to be. You can do the math before you play video poker and say, okay, if I'm expecting to do 5,000 coin in and I'm going to play $5 a hand, then we're just going to do 5,000 divided by 5 and use the counter per hand played. So probably that's a little bit of a tedious way to do it. And we just play it in one session, or maybe we break it up throughout the day or a trip, whatever it might be. I think there are a lot of ways to track the tier. It's not as mysterious, even though Ocean website, this is just going off some data points that I saw on Reddit and some various forums, but you can test and say, okay, I'm going to put 100 coin in. How much tier did I earn? And I go to the kiosk, and then you could do the math and figure out how much coin in you would need.
Yeah, those are good tips. I think that's important, right? If you have a winning session, you may not know how many bets you've made. And so really keeping track of how many bets you need to make in order to get to that number, whether that's 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000. If I'm going to play 5,000 through, is there advantages to playing $5 hands versus $50 hands or even $100 hands, Justin?
There's much more volatility with the higher amount that you would play. So if you're to play $100 a hand, yeah, you can have a really bad session. But if you're playing, I think, dollar machines for 5 credits to get that royal flush multiplier, $5 a hand could be nice. Or they could have quarter machines and then you'd be playing $1.25 a hand. But if you're playing a quarter machine at 5 credits, it might take a long time to get to something like $10,000 in coin in. And there would be an advantage. Our friend Michael Traeger from Travel Zork and the Zorkfest event, which is going to be happening in 2025, as mentioned in the intro, he recommends having a big gaming day. So if you were to go to try to do all that gaming, if you have a goal in one day, you'll possibly get future offers from the casino for maybe complimentary nights, dining credits, free play, and things like that. So if you were to be in Atlantic City for several nights, maybe it'd be best to just knock out the play in one day or one session rather than spread it out throughout the year and do all these mini sessions.
Yeah, that's a good tip. And like you said earlier, for some casinos, they may even bonus you if you get a certain number of tier credits in a day, right? So if you're going to do it all in one day, if you're going to gamble some number anyway, maybe there's an advantage to doing it in one day instead of in multiple days.
Yeah, and I haven't seen any multiplier days or any milestones with Ocean, but Caesars definitely has offered those. And I'm hoping towards the end of the year that they'll have a multiplier day so I won't have to play as much video poker. But definitely throughout the year, Caesars has offered various tier multiplier days, reward credit multiplier days, where you would want to hit those pretty hard rather than just earning the base rate like I might have to towards the end of the year. I didn't have a plan to spend my way to Diamond, but now that I'm so close, it's going to make sense to do that.
So when you're in Atlantic City, squeezing out those last few points on a video poker machine, Justin, if someone were to stop by and say, hey, I'm actually Caesars Diamond today from the status match, what should I do? Where should I go in order to maximize my benefits moving forward? And how can I continue to keep some level of top tier status with some casino so that when I come back or my family comes back and we want to visit, we can accrue or take advantage of some of these benefits?
Yeah, so Miles Talk mentioned earlier in the podcast, they said Hard Rock Icon status that expires February 28th of 2025. Ocean status expires June 2025. Bally's status expires the end of 2024. And Bally's allegedly matches every 13 months. Ocean is every year and a half. So you have other options that might push it beyond the Caesars expiration date. So there is a slim chance that in February, maybe you can match back to Caesars from a different program, even though you can't match from Wyndham. And of course, my favorite credit card, the MGM Mastercard, I think is a way to go forward since we've fallen off with the Wyndham to Caesars match. So I earned MGM Platinum this year mainly through spending on the credit card and using the credit card to play on BetMGM. I currently have over 200,000 tier that was needed, and my status is going to expire in January of 2026, assuming I do no more play with. But if you've matched to MGM Gold status, which now I think is dead, but some people did that a few months ago, your status will then expire January 31st of 2025. So you won't be able to ride out MGM much longer if you have no tier or close to no tier.
So it sounds like there would be an opportunity if you had Caesars Diamond or MGM Gold that you could match over to Bally's because that ends at the end of the year. And then you'd have Bally's status through the rest of 2025. Then you potentially, if you don't have any other status, try to match that around. Although I don't hear of many people being successful in matching Bally's status to other casinos.
No, I think the Bally's status is going to expire at the end of 2024. So even if you match it in December, you're just going to have it for that month. I don't think it gives you another year. That's a weakness of the Bally's status. But I got a free t-shirt with Bally's. And
since the Caesars and MGM don't expire until January 31st of 2025, you'd have a month in there to match to Bally's for all of 2025. Is that correct?
Yeah. So if you're currently not superstar or a different higher status with Bally's, maybe you can say, all right, I'm not going to go to Bally's and get the free t-shirt. I'm just going to wait until February of 2025. And then maybe I can match Hard Rock to Bally's and then have that for a whole year. and maybe match Bally's back. But I think MGM is a possible on-ramp in the future. And MGM I've used to match my platinum status at Wynn Las Vegas, Fontainebleau Las Vegas, and even Rivers Philadelphia at one point. And I was also able to match MGM Platinum to Live Philadelphia, but Live told me that I'm an active player, so I'm ineligible to match back. But if someone's brand new to Live, they might be able to match. Maybe Live and Rivers will be options after February. Maybe you can match that Hard Rock status or different statuses over there. So it's something to look for. But the MGM Mastercard, of course, my favorite credit card. Sometimes they run promotions where you get 3 times tier and comps or free play for loading on BetMGM. So with a credit limit of $15,000, if you were to max that at 3x, that would be 45,000 tier, and you only need 75,000 tier to get to gold. And a lot of these promos will last for 4 weeks or 5 weeks. So you're probably going to be in a position where your statement closes during that promotion if it's 4 weeks or more. So you would run up the credit limit, you'd wait for the statement to close, pay it off, and then run up the credit limit again. I don't recommend cycling. That would be to run it up, pay it off, and run it up again during the same statement. That might get you shut down. That's traditionally a no, but maybe it can be good with FNBO. So if you were to max that 15K credit limit during that promotion, you'd get 45K tier twice or 90K tier, which would get you gold just on that 3X promotion. And you also earn 2 times points for grocery and fuel purchases. So you can get tier through spend ongoing. Even outside of these 3X promos, you can use the MGM Mastercard at places like Speedway, as long as it's not a Speedway Hut, a place that doesn't sell gift cards. Or maybe 7-Eleven accepts. And of course, grocery. We have tons of grocery, creative or manufactured spend in the state of Pennsylvania with Redner's, Giant, Weiss, Acme, ShopRite, many other places that you can purchase prepaid cards. And you could even use the MGM Mastercard to buy FanDuel, DraftKings, and many other cards. So the gold status will possibly be a way to match MGM Gold to other programs, and it's actually earned status. So that's a nice thing. And if you go for the crazy high score like me for platinum, that's 200K tier, but it's totally doable if you have online gambling, if you're going to be in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Michigan. There are a lot of ways that you can use the credit card and BetMGM online gambling to get to gold and platinum status with MGM and then potentially match that to other programs and get many benefits.
I can confirm that Justin is a great host. So if you're looking to fly into Pennsylvania or Philadelphia or New Jersey, I'm sure he would be happy to meet you in Atlantic City and show you around. Just to clarify on the MGM Mastercard, which I know you have demonstrated or stated repeatedly to me that it is inevitable.
Yes.
You get 1X tier for all spend and 2X tier for grocery and fuel, or is it just comps and free play that you get at those levels or for that multiplier?
Yeah, when I say 1X, it's 1X tier and 1X comps. And then the 2X would be 2X tier, 3X tier, and 3X comps. So you can use the free play and just play it through in slots. Video poker doesn't accept it as far as I've seen. Or you could just use it for hotel, dining, and much more. So not only do you get the 3X for the BetMGM loads when they run promos, but you also get the tier. So that's incredibly powerful. And earning gold status gives you a $100 additional dining credit that you can just load as comps rather than using it wailing out in a steakhouse, when you can instead go to the glorious Amphora Lounge at Borgata for only $12.50, which is also a gold benefit. It's unlimited food and alcohol, and very good food and alcohol. And platinum status, you get a $600 annual flight rebate. You get a complimentary cruise. So that's another cruise offer from a casino. You get a $200 dining credit and then other perks like priority lines, possible room upgrades, and more. So in my wallet, I definitely get the most value from the MGM Mastercard every year. I can't imagine another card that gives more benefits than that.
It does sound like a good deal. If you were convincing me, just hypothetically speaking, to sign up, when would you recommend signing up? And is there a bonus associated with the card?
You could sign up now, but your spend on the card, if you were to say get approved today and the card were to come in the mail around November 25th, Your statement would then close around December 25th. When the statement closed, all that tier and comps, that would count toward the current status year. So that would really be bad. So you would want to ideally have your approval in late December, early January, or you could possibly get approved early, but just don't spend on the card, which I think would be strange. So say if you were to get approved for the card on January 4th, your statement would then close on February 4th. So with this card, all of your tier and comps are just earned at one time when that statement closes. So the statement would close around February 4th. So then you would get all that tier for the year rather than getting approved today. And then the tier really doesn't contribute because I think the tier is a main feature of the card. And right now it has a $100 sign-up bonus, but the ongoing value is really the big thing, the status, the perks, much more.
And is FNBO sensitive to as far as are they sensitive to credit card applications? So they have a 524 or I don't know what the numbers are anymore.
No, I don't think they're super sensitive like US Bank, Barclays, or Chase, but they also don't pull from TransUnion. And I think a lot of listeners might be heavy on the TransUnion. So it's either Experian or Equifax, or you could look in the My FICO forums and see what people report, especially for different states that might pull different bureaus. So I wouldn't go heavy with other banks. I'd prioritize FNB, as I think the ongoing value of this card is so tremendous. It's worth it to put it early in an apparama if you were to apply for multiple cards in the same session.
Apparama is a word I haven't used in quite a while, so it's a good reminder for those folks that are still using that strategy. I know you're doing that to some extent still, Justin.
Yes, I'm planning on applying for multiple cards in the same session.
And remind folks that haven't heard that term before, what's the benefit of that or why do you do it that way?
Yeah, so generally because I've been opening multiple cards at the same time, I have to wait usually about 6 months. So I've put myself in this position. And when I apply, I suppose I could just apply for one card with TransUnion, one card with Equifax, one card with Experian. So I'm going to go for more cards because I'm extremely confident that I can hit the spend goals and the sign-up bonuses. As we know, the answer to everything is more credit cards. But it might get to a point where if I'm out of good options, if I have to apply for cards that only have a $100 sign-up bonus and no other benefits, I might drift away from the apparama and just wait for better cards. But I do have some good contenders, some cards that I can pay by phone and get additional rewards while I'm floozing to the finish line. I'm looking forward to some new cards in January that can have a lot of utility for me. Although I'm happy to say in some case that I'm probably not going to be applying for Bank of America cards because they no longer accept pay by phone and they have horrible IT. I've had bad customer service experiences with them. So Bank of America probably falling out of the apparama going forward.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. We'll have to talk a little about some cards that allow more pay by phone. So I was doing some Costco Gold purchasing and I was looking at with Bank of America off the list. It has decrease my portfolio of cards that I can use at the profit level that I'm comfortable with for something like that. Looking for more opportunities how to increase the rewards on some of those cards.
Yep. All right. And to get back to the topic here, some people might wonder about the Founders card. Can we apply for the Founders card and get Caesars Diamond status? If we were to get the Founders card in February of 2025, can we get Diamond status? Again, referring to Miles Talk and Dave Grossman. He said that in February 2024, there were a lot of issues that Caesars seemed to have pulled out from the agreement with Founders Card. They weren't giving the status anymore, but then Caesars eventually honored the status. But then even rematching didn't work for some, and only some were able to match because they were Wyndham business credit card holders. So Founders Card seeming shaky, and some people in groups, some data points, a lot of mixed results. So it would be a big gamble, let's say, to sign up for the Founders Card at $300, $400, not get the Diamond status, and then be at the mercy of them giving you a refund because a certain benefit wasn't honored or didn't work.
Yeah, it sounds, despite people asking, got to give us a shot. You're just looking for a chance, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen again. I actually looked at the Founders Club website before getting on the podcast. There's no mention even of Caesars anywhere on there. If it's not dead, it's well hidden at least. So that's, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's an opportunity to achieve Caesars Diamond status anymore.
So the MGM Mastercard, indeed inevitable. You'll be going on your supermarket sweeps. I bought a bunch of prepaid cards at Weiss Markets today. I filled my freezer with frozen veggies. So
The supermarket sweep.
yeah, the former host, David Ruprecht, I'm not sure who's with that at the moment, but maybe it'll be you on the next season.
I do enjoy coasting this one. I think I'll just stay with points and miles for now. That'll probably be the best option.
Yeah, maybe they'll get Dave Ramsey to go on the show.
Oh boy. I don't think he'd be allowed to buy anything if that was the case. He'd just look at
Rice and beans.
he'd just look at you and be like, "Who's the interior design person that talks about does this item bring you joy?
Marique.
Do they bring you joy? You shouldn't spend them." Yeah.
He's the anti-supermarket.
Yeah.
I'm very anti-spending in many ways too, lamenting steakhouses, lamenting slot play. But see, we're still doing a lot and having all these fun trips, vacations, miles and points, conversations, and great joy through the hobby. And even gambling, which of course Dave Ramsey wouldn't be a fan of. In the black and white world, the house always wins, right?
Yeah, it all depends on what you're looking for, right? If you're just going to sit down and play, the house is probably going to win. But if you're doing it with other benefits that you're trying to accrue and take advantage of, the same idea, right? It's the same approach that we use with credit cards. It's the same approach we use in a variety of ways.
Lots of stacking, lots of rebates, lots of fun, including comp cruises with that MGM Platinum card. I'm going to be going on a celebrity cruise. That'll be my third celebrity cruise.
You know the situation. Yeah.
All right. We have a subscriber.
The new feature.
Yes, I have the subscribe star page. Not all patrons are using the benefits, but that's okay. If people want to just financially support, that's cool too, but we're happy to take your questions as well. So subscriber question, paraphrasing here. Subscriber asks, I have the Wyndham business card and I didn't make it to Caesars in Las Vegas to claim diamond status. With the match ending next year, does it make sense for me to plan a trip to Las Vegas or Atlantic City?
Absolutely.
Do it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's I guess here's the thing. If that person's looking ahead and thinking next year I could use, I'll be back to Vegas, I'll be back to Atlantic City, and I could really use those benefits, the celebration dinner, the waived resort fees, the free valet parking, the cruise, all those sorts of things. If that's something they think they're going to use, then yeah, absolutely make it happen. Same with Vegas, right? There's lots of cheap flights to Vegas depending on where you're coming from. And if it's just a couple days that you're just going to do a couple status matches, maybe put some coin in, as you were talking about, try to convince the casinos that you're a heavy hitter and that they want to have you come back at some reduced cost and then come back. I think there's real opportunities there and it would make a lot of sense.
Yes, acting sooner rather than later is the best. I hope that Ocean doesn't pull shenanigans and change the rules. So imagine, okay, you went to Atlantic City a few weeks ago, like former podcast guest Mark Kaczynski. He went to Atlantic City. I called him today. I said, Mark, you got to book this cruise today, because what if you wait until December 2nd, you try to book the cruise with MSC, and then MSC says, oh, Ocean suspended their participation in this program, so we're no longer allowing the cruise booking. What do you mean? I was there and they told me I had the cruise. Oh, sorry, not anymore.
That would be a tragedy. And it would, I think all fraud is the term we're here. Yeah.
Come into the casino, fly to AC, and then you just get...
It's a good reminder, though, that at any point, these benefits, these relationships, these status matches can change. We know that in the points and miles world, right? We hear about devaluations, no notice devaluations, right? Suddenly, you're not able to book that thing that you were planning to book with those points, and you have to do it in a different way, or it's much more expensive, or whatever that might be. The same thing certainly can happen here. They make the rules, right? Who makes the rules, Justin? They make the rules.
Yeah, it was the Indian doctor I used to work with, Dr. Panja, is what she said to the kids who would often misbehave.
Unfortunately, in that situation, I think the kids probably made the rules, but here we are the kids. Yeah, we are the kids, and the casinos are the moms, and the dads are making the rules. We're in the situation where we just have to play by the rules. And there's certainly, to your point, you've done a great job of outlining what those rules are and how you can benefit or use them to your benefit, the status, to get the benefits that we're talking about. But there is no time like the present. Earn and burn.
The game ever changing, so we're ever adjusting. We're not giving up. We're not, oh, miles and points is done. It's all over. The status matches are done. No, I still think that we have a future with the status matching, but even if we're not able to get Caesars Diamond again, I think it was a good run for several years, and we're just going to look for opportunities with other programs, other casinos.
Absolutely. And I think you've done a nice job of outlining where those opportunities are, how you can achieve them through credit card spend, through play, through some combination of those things. And I'm glad to see that there's still opportunities when I'm ready to get back in.
Hopefully we get some gymnastics competitions in Atlantic City or Las Vegas. Then maybe you have some more family trips in those regions.
Absolutely. That would certainly spark my interest and move that higher up on the priority list.
Maybe Taylor Swift could perform in Las Vegas.
That's true. There's a stadium there now, right? That would be perfect. I don't know. I'm sure the Sphere, is that what it's called? The Sphere does not have enough seats.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's a whole host of concerts. The girls are also, they enjoy a number of artists, not just Taylor Swift. So if they heard that there was one of those artists performing at the Sphere or someplace other in Vegas, I think they'd enjoy that. Yeah, we've been a couple of times, as I've said, it's whatever you want it to be. If you want to go for a bachelor party, if you want to go with friends, you want to go as couples and have a great time and do not kid things, then you can do that. If you want to use it as a jumping off point for an outdoor adventure, there's plenty of that around as well. And again, I think there's lots of different things for folks to do. And if you're the parent, you want to slide down to the casino and play a little poker, also, everyone should have the opportunity to enjoy themselves on a vacation.
Yeah, that was one line from Gilbert Gottfried, R.I.P. Gilbert Gottfried, in the movie or the documentary, The Aristocrats. So I'll sneak out. And that's the Aristocrats, not the Aristocats.
So it's a good shout out there.
Yeah, then the director's cut, they were talking about a mom who thought that it was the Aristocats. And then after a few minutes of being in the theater with the kids, they just left.
That's funny.
Yeah, George Carlin was in that, Bob Saget. So a lot of luminaries, let's say. Unfortunately, a lot of dead comedians. It's very sad, but we will go forward with new comedy, new status matching, new credit cards as 2025.
Continue, Justin. You just got to be willing to look for them and give it a shot.
Gold in the streets. MGM Gold. It's out there.
Costco Gold, MGM Gold, all the gold. I think that's where it needs to be.
Yeah, and once again in Las Vegas, Zorkfest 2025 coming in December. So you might be doing play before and or after that. I'll definitely be going to Las Vegas in 2025, staying at Rio, Las Vegas to retain the Hyatt Global status. I don't know which one there. So I'll be there. There'll be opportunities to match and play, and hopefully we'll see other tier matches popping up. Maybe Wynn Las Vegas will join the club again, join the party. Venetian Las Vegas, tremendous disappointment. I only got $15 in free play with Venetian, no other big dinners or cruises or anything like that.
I know when those status matches come up, you'll be the first to let us know through Twitter, through the Greater Philadelphia Travel Miles and Points.
Greater Philadelphia Miles and Points meetups.
In Willow Grove. Oh, you beat me to it. Yeah. So look forward to seeing you there and learning more about it.
America's favorite Chinese food. No longer in Giant. It's now inside Giant. It's Super Hong Kong Chef. Great Chinese food.
I found that to be the case as well. Really nice folks and some good food. So if you're in the area and have those Giant Rewards points, it's what, 3X on Visa, Vanilla Visa?
X on Vanilla Visa coming this Friday. We're recording November 18th. This Friday, 3X on Vanilla Visa gift cards. So hopefully they don't all brick on you and you try to use the card and it's frozen. You have to call in and get a replacement. That's never fun. But unfortunately, we've had a few cards. I've been made whole, but it's definitely been a call in and get some cards replaced with those vanillas.
Yes, you're suspiciously using the money on the card like it's designed to do.
Cashier's making up rules.
Yeah.
All right.
No announcements for me. I think that's a good spot to end. Always appreciate you having me back. I look forward to next Talk Miles and Points with you and all the listeners. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks for joining me. Have a good night. Thanks for listening and stay tuned for future episodes. Early bird ticket sales for Zorkfest 2025, a Miles Points and Gambling event, are now live at zorkfest.travelzork.com. I spoke at the successful Zorkfest 2024 event and hope to see you at Zorkfest 2025 in Las Vegas from December 5th through December 7th. I'm also looking forward to other events in 2025 and had a successful 2024, speaking at events with Award Travel 101, Frequent Traveler University, and both Chicago Seminars events. If you're an event organizer and would like to have me speak at your 2025 event, please contact me. Visit meetup.com/Philly Miles and Points to RSVP for monthly Greater Philadelphia travel, credit miles and points meetups I host in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. The next meetups are December 15th, 2024 and January 26th, 2025. Find a link in the show notes. For more content between podcast episodes, follow Hurdy Gurdy Travel Podcast on Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter. For bonus videos and community content, subscribe to Hurdy Gurdy Travel Podcast on YouTube. Follow Justin Vacula on Instagram for content and trip photos. Search Hurdy Gurdy Travel on subscribestar.com to financially support my efforts starting at the $5 a month tip jar level. Receive special perks at higher subscriber levels, including private one-on-one discussions. Find links and more at hurdygurdytravel.com. The website udio.com created the podcast intro and outro music. The AI features of the website Descript helped me edit and improve audio quality. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Travel at low cost with the points and miles. Credit card rewards bring the smiles. Many adventures, tales to be told. Make and save money, the world will unfold. Fight the war on happiness, pick up the gold. Hurdy Gurdy Travel Podcast breaks the mold.